Right, hi everyone. Hope you're all well. Welcome to this week's Zoom meeting. Here we have Victoria Armstrong, CEO at Disability North. She's here today to tell us all about the wonderful Disability North charity. So over to you, Victoria.
Hi, Jonathan. Hi. Yes, Disability North, for those of you who haven't heard of us, we're a regional disability charity. So we support people all the way from top of Northumberland all the way down to sort of North Yorkshire. We're based in Newcastle at the Dean Centre, which is a fully independent, live-in independent centre. It's fully accessible. The charity itself has been around for about well over 30 years. I've only been here for a few years myself. And what we tend to do is we support disabled people, really. We like to think that we support anybody with any query on disability. And what that means is we do a lot of work around welfare benefits. So people, applying for disability related benefits, supporting them to apply, supporting them to appeal and that sort of thing. Anything around independent living and equipment, we can provide support and advice around that. We also support people in the region who have what we call a direct payment, where people get their social care budget and then they choose to employ their own personal assistants on that. So we support people with a payroll service, as well as the advice on being an employer and some of the issues that arise in doing that. And, we're always listening to people, in terms of what they want from us as a disability organisation. The Dean Centre itself, like I say, is fully accessible. And we've got a lot of different tenants supporting different people with sort of like different conditions. So we've got like Silverline Memories that support people with dementia. We've got Live Easy, which is a shop in the middle of our building. So if anybody needs any equipment and things, they can come in. Obviously, we've been open and closed like everywhere else throughout the pandemic and the lockdown. And well over a year ago now, you and I started talking, didn't we, about doing something around more health and well-being.
Yeah, the Ability North project.
Yes, indeed. So we chatted and thought there was actually like a need. A lot of people kind of go to the gym, it's one way in this day and age people get fit, or at the moment obviously it's in your bedroom with some free weights. We thought, wouldn't it be great if we know from the people that kind of call us and that we support in other things that they don't always feel confident going to the gym, sort of because maybe they've got health impairment, or maybe think people won't understand, or some of those kind of social attitudes, or needing that little bit more support, really. So we talked and we thought maybe there's some scope here to get a little bit of funding from Sport England to see how it would be if we piloted some sort of like personal training sessions for people with health issues, disabled people, ranging from whether it's mental health problems, learning disabilities, sort of mobility issues, or somebody's had an accident or had a stroke and things like that. So that was how it all started, and we were fortunate enough to get some money from Sport England to start running that project. And then lockdown hit, and funders have been great. Actually, they've been great in terms of moving things along a little bit and letting us be quite flexible. And we work a lot with Disability Rights UK, which is the umbrella user-led organisations like Disability North. And we got a little bit more money so we could buy our own equipment, which meant that we could keep the project going, hopefully, beyond this pilot. And Jonathan, you and I have been working together, you specifically, to put on those sessions. And we've been open and we've been closed, and we've been open and we've been closed, but we've got some really, we've got some really good feedback. And I think, hopefully as we ease out of this period of lockdown, people will be looking to get fit, and I think it's, from what people have said, it's a really supportive environment. That one-on-one support's really important if you're not sure what you're doing. Having somebody who is supportive and having somewhere where you can actually come that it's fully accessible and that people understand, I think is really important. So that's the Ability North project, and hopefully it'll kind of continue over the coming months and beyond.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, we've had a tough time with it, haven't we? With the two postponements. But yeah, third time lucky. Yeah, it's been great, the Ability North project, and like you say, with the funders being flexible, we've been really lucky in that sense to allow us to carry it on. Yeah, fingers crossed it goes from strength to strength, Victoria.
Yep.
Looking forward to getting back in action, I tell you.
Well, 7th of May is the date, so yeah, looking forward to having you back in. It's nice to have the building sort of getting a bit busier really with people coming in, and sort of, like I said, some of our tenants, the smaller charities that are based here, you know, coming in and starting getting on with some work and looking forward. So, you know, I don't think it'll be without its problems, but hopefully we can do that.
So speaking about that, Victoria, so when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, what happened to Disability North itself?
Well, Disability North really started running all of our sort of advice now, one-to-one support remotely. So we found that we could give people advice on benefits and their entitlement over the telephone, over Zoom. You know, everybody's become an expert in Zoom, haven't they, over the last 12 months? So we were able to sort of continue doing what we're doing with the advice provision. Obviously, we couldn't really assess people for equipment and things like that, but because we've got experienced staff, we were able to identify things over the telephone. So we had that period of closure where a couple of key members of staff had to come in to keep our payroll and things running, and our staff were off working in their bedrooms or their kitchen tables, like everybody was really, keeping in touch with people. Obviously, you know, we kept in touch about this project, you know, and how we were going to work it. And then we had that period like sort of opening up a little bit, doing a bit more face-to-face stuff. I mean, there's certain things obviously you have to do face-to-face. You know, if somebody's employing their own personal assistant to provide personal care, you know, we had to have a safe, COVID-safe environment for people to continue doing those interviews face-to-face, because I'm sure you'll appreciate if people are receiving personal care, they probably don't want to just have a Zoom interview. It's important to at least offer for people to have face-to-face. So we made sure we were completely safe for people to come in and do that if they needed to. So yeah, we've kind of muddled through. The staff, everybody here has been really supportive of one another. It's, you know, it's sort of been a bit blitz spirit in that sense. But yeah, it's been a shame that this project has obviously had to, you know, kind of be postponed and then sort of delayed. But I think, you know, hopefully as we come out, it's a good time of year. You know, we're thinking of spring, and people hopefully feel like we've got a bit more energy. Maybe after this Easter weekend, we will. And yeah.
So is the doors starting to open back up for people to come in the building itself?
Yes, over the latest period of lockdown, the government did say that shops that were providing disability equipment and aids could stay open. So our shop, well, it's not our shop, but we work in partnership with Live Easy, and so they were still open. But we asked people to make an appointment to come if they wanted to look at sort of a reclining chair or something like that. So.
Yeah. So previously to the pandemic and things, Victoria, was that just like, because obviously I've only worked with you like a small amount of time, but was that for people to just come and have a look around as they wished? So it was like an open shop kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's run by Live Easy, which is a separate company, but we've always worked in partnership with them over the decades. So yeah, people would come in and look at the shop. We'd have a lot more events and things, like we've got an accessible conference room, training rooms, meeting rooms. So groups, all sorts of groups would book that space, and you'd have people training, doing moving and handling training and all sorts of things. So, you know, the building got really, really very quiet for the last year. So we're very slowly opening that up again, and looking forward to that really, and you know, welcoming new people back.
Brilliant. That's what I was going to ask you. So on on your social media, I see there's a lot of like job alerts and things like that, aren't there? So if for people watching, so if they were interested in say PA work, how would they go about getting in touch and things like that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can apply directly if you see a vacancy. Like I say, we support a lot of disabled people to employ their own personal assistants, so we act as sort of like the support mechanism to do that. So if you see something that you quite like the look of, by all means put in an application form. The form's on our website, and just apply directly. And I think everybody in the pandemic has made people think about what jobs they do, what they like about their job, are those skills transferable? And I think the thing about health and social care, there are some transferable skills, you know, for people who have worked in hospitality and things, and obviously that's going to be opening up again, hopefully, so that's great. But you know, maybe people do want to do different things. So if people haven't done that sort of work before, we do have a number of personalization advisors and people who can maybe have a chat to you about it. So there's contact details on there, and to just contact reception really, and have a chat about it to see if it is suitable for you.
Brilliant. In regards to like the services that you provide for people looking for help with, say, like benefits and things. So, how far afield does disability? You know, I know you did mention at the start, but how? Just to recap, how far afield does Disability North support reach?
Mm-hmm. It's top of Northumberland. I'm doing this as if I'm on a weather map. Top of Northumberland and across to Cumbria and sort of to North Yorkshire, really.
Brilliant.
So I mean, obviously, you know, in the days we can offer all sorts of advice that suit people. If somebody's living in Middlesbrough, for example, you know, they might not want to be coming all the way up for a face-to-face appointment. I suppose all the work that we've done over lockdown and things, we've shown that we can do it remotely. So I think people are, you know, picking up the phone. It is tricky sometimes, you know, it is tricky because it's easier to sit with a phone with somebody and show them what to do and help write that and do that. But, you know, needs must, and you know, we've got a really successful team of welfare benefits advisors who have a great deal of knowledge. If anybody is, you know, wanting that sort of advice, like I say, whether it's just about entitlement, about what you're entitled to, all the way to like applying, or if you've had a decision and you disagree with it.
Brilliant, good stuff. Talk about events. You mentioned events before there, Victoria. So what kind of events have Disability North run in the past?
All sorts of things. Yeah, we used to have an annual exhibition called DNEX, Disability North Exhibition, where like sort of equipment providers would come and showcase their sort of like the newest aids and adaptations, if you like. But we found that over the years, of course, you know, we've had a period of austerity as well, you know, with lots of cutbacks in all sorts of businesses and things that, you know, even those companies couldn't afford to go to around all these exhibitions. So we start doing sort of more small scale stuff for people who might want to do demonstrations for a particular piece of equipment and things like that. And like I said, training events, you know, for people who are interested in being a personal assistant, we can run a course to introduce them to that role. Also, we do fundraising events, you know, sort of like we've got a golf day and things like that. So usually, you know, people are fundraising for us for the Great North Run, which is great. So yeah, it's a whole, you know, all sorts of things, from fundraising, sort of fun stuff, sort of more training and serious stuff as well.
Yeah. So is there anything big happening once things are starting to open back up? Is there any plans for those to carry on maybe, or to come back?
Yeah, I mean, we daren't tempt fate at the moment, as you probably appreciate. But yeah, I mean, we've been, one of the things that we've been working behind the scenes really is recognizing that sort of proper training for businesses, whether they're in the voluntary sector, whether they're in the private sector, whether in the public sector, around disability. And what we find is often people, I don't know, we've probably all been in a scenario where you've started a job, whatever it is that you might be starting work in a bank. You go along and you've got to, I've done my diversity training, I've done my inclusion training, I've done my, you know, health and safety training. And it's always at the beginning of a job, it's like a bit of a tick box exercise really. And you will go like, oh, right, yeah, we know we shouldn't discriminate against people. Okay, well, I wouldn't be nasty to somebody because of that. And that's sort of taken as read. But I think people, you know, as people get going in their jobs or, you know, in their day-to-day life, they're sort of appreciating what some people with health impairment sort of go through. So we've been developing like a training course really that we're calling sort of like more active inclusion, rather than just being aware that there's the Equality Act and you shouldn't discriminate against this sort of person, this sort of person, that sort of person. This is about actually how do we actively include people. And I think that's what we've tried to do with the Ability North project really, is to make sure people can come to a supportive environment. Because, you know, you could go down to your local gym, you know, and if you've got a health impairment or you're a wheelchair user, no one's going to turn you away, I would hope, in this day and age. But it's about confidence, and it's about what you've gone through in that day to get to that point. And if you go there and there might not be somebody who maybe just doesn't know, you know, you've gone that way, you've spent all of that mental energy getting there, and for what? And I think a lot of people feel that way, and that's what's different about our project. People know that they can come to an environment that's inclusive. Yeah. You know, we'll meet your needs, we'll support you to get, we'll chat to you beforehand. You know, it's flexible, and there isn't that feeling of, oh, I'm going into a gym, because that's bad enough. Well, that's going to be bad enough for all of us, isn't it? in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, I think it's important to be actively inclusive rather than just say, oh, I'm aware of this going on, but actually do something about it.
Yeah. So the website, Disability North website. So is that talk about that? Is that got all the information about? I know we're talking about events and obviously our project. And does that also have the going back to the job alerts and things like that? Are they on the site as well?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else you would like to add, Victoria, for people to know about?
No, I would just say that we're a user-led organisation, so that means the majority of our board of trustees are made up of people who identify as disabled people, and we're always trying to listen to what people want. That's how this project was born, really. So if anybody does have any things that they think are missed or any ideas for things, we can't always make everything happen, but if people are thinking there's a gap here or we'd quite like to do this, we have got a space here for when things open up. Just get in touch. It's reception@disabilitynorth.org.uk, and there's all the details on the website as well. So if there is any queries or anything, please just pick up the phone and call us. Like I said, that's on our website, or drop us an email.
Brilliant. Should I do a quick run over what the Ability North project, like what days it's on and times and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be helpful. Yeah.
Right. So the Ability North project, as Victoria mentioned, is it's personal training. It's all one-to-one. Also, as she mentioned, it's a private area we've got up in the conference room, haven't we? So it would literally be myself and the participant, or the participant can bring someone from the support bubble or the carer, things like that. Each participant will receive three sessions, and they're held on a Monday and a Friday between 10 and 2:30. To get in touch and to book a place on that, you can contact myself at info@motionnortheast.co.uk, or you can give me a call at 0771 2289 225. I will put this in the text above the video post, just in case you couldn't jot that down fast enough. But yeah, we're set to restart that May 7th, and as Victoria mentioned before, we're hoping this will go from strength to strength, and we'll be able to carry it on after that. I think we're set for around about mid-July, I think it was. So it's running from the 7th of May till mid-July. But yeah, obviously we're hoping to extend.
We're working on we're working on getting a continuation funding.
Yes, so fingers crossed. Thanks for taking the time to talk today, Victoria. I really appreciate that. Questions? Feel free to leave questions in the comments, and then I can, for people watching, and then I can maybe forward them on to Victoria. Or you did mention the reception email as well there. I'll also add that to the text above the video as well for people. But yeah, no, it's been brilliant. It's been a great insight into what disability is all about. Disability North is all about. Victoria, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So yeah, thank you very much, and we'll hopefully see you all soon, guys. So thank you.
Bye.
Bye.